Happy Mother's Day. Hi everybody. This is Aunt Steph. How you doing? I'm taking a morning stroll. I've been trying to do this video and my camera just was giving me a fit about it. But I thought it was so important to talk to you all. This is the day after Mother's Day. And you know, all across the whole entire world that celebrated this holiday celebrated Mother's Day, right? So before I start, let me show you my dog. Show you my dog. Yeah, my baby, my baby. That is Chase. Anyway, see how Chase is a boy. He don't know nothing about Mother's Day. Anyway, Mother's Day. Very, very special to a lot of us women. Some feel as though every day is Mother's Day. Some want to do a special little kick, you know, when the Mother's Day come around. Like most of us do. And I'm including. My dog trying to... some multitasking here. Anyway, I had a wonderful Mother's Day, and I thought it was especially necessary to put a video out because those who are in this community, and I'm talking about the narcissistic personality disorder, dysfunctional family unit community, on one level or next is dealing with Mother's Day. Whether you're a mother, whether your mother is the person who has a narcissistic personality disorder and has governed over the family dysfunction or whatever. But it affects us all. So I thought it was a very interesting discussion to have on how was your Mother's Day, how you dealt with your mother if you had that issue in your family, how you dealt with it. Now, if you haven't known my family, that's what I call you, I have decided to go no contact. And in going no contact, I just decided that it would be better in my life to have peace by not associating with those who cannot be a positive influence in my life. So I made the decision to not communicate. And that is what it is in a nutshell. But just to tell you how my Mother's Day went, I had started off Friday because I do a weekend. I'm sorry, I need more time. I started off Friday by just going out and doing some me stuff. Like I bought myself a pair of shoes from DSW. I went and bought myself some uniforms, so I had some new scrubs to work in, and I think that's it. I also had got a facial, not a facial, I'm sorry, a wax, because I grow some hair on my chin and I also made time to get a pedicure, which I thought was necessary for my Mother's Day. So I don't want y'all to think I live in a trash chute, whatever, but that's a dumpster I just passed, and where's it at? That's a dumpster, and that's some leaves they do, whatever, and stuff. Anyway, went off subject for a second there. All right. On Saturday, I had a wonderful time. Saturday, I chose something on Eventbrite. Because I'm new to the Atlanta area. I don't know too much about what's out there. My church did have something that we joined down here, but I didn't get my tickets in time. So I found this woman's tea that was in Southwest Atlanta. I attended. It was about 50 of us. It was nice. They had some nice little activities. Like one activity they had was if you brought a teacup. They had a teacup contest. And they also had a hat contest for those who wanted to participate. I didn't, but I enjoyed the contest. It was very nice. And then they did stuff we always have at Woman Gathering, like how many things are inside of your pocketbook on the list. You get points, whoever the most, win. Stuff like that. But, in this area, it amazes me because when it came down to the food, it was still the same across the board, meaning that no matter what, it seemed like you had to have peach on the menu, peach. So they had a peach drink to be part of their menu. they had hors d'oeuvres, and their hors d'oeuvres, they had spaghetti, double eggs. That somebody had pulled pork, turkey, and pulled chicken with a nice homemade barbecue sauce. They had veggies as well as fruit and cheese, and then they had it was something else. They had all these pastas. They have different stuff, meatballs. It was very nice variety. The food was good, and the service that they had was very good. So that's how I enjoyed my Saturday. My Sunday, I topped it off by going to church, honey. I went to church, and it was a very special message that was in church. I loved it. I loved it. I had messages throughout this Mother's Day weekend altogether. The message I had that was in church that I thought was interesting to you all was the fact that they talked about children, believe it or not, and how us being mothers to our children. Now, depending on how you interact with your children as a parent, you can have a response back from them as being of a sense of gratitude, entitlement, or dependence. And I thought it was very interesting. For example, say you had an adult child in her 20s that did not, hasn't learned the skills or thought it was important enough to pay her cell phone bill, right? She had the money, but she chose to do what she wanted to do with it. And then at the same time, now she wants you to back her up and give her the money to keep her cell phone from being cut off. So the pastor, she talked. We have a male and female co-pastors. The pastor, that the marriage, couple, the pastor touched on that, because I'm sure a lot of us been in that circumstance before, and shared how sometimes we got to say no. And we have to allow them to be able to get the skills necessary so they can be able to manage themselves in life, because whether they're paying a cell phone bill or whether they're paying their own car insurance or car note or portions towards the rent, however it is you have set up in your home, they have to learn how to manage, because that's part of life. It's a life thing, and we can't continuously put ourselves in position of bailing them out. We will be considering ourselves as being enablers instead of those who are helping them strive to be better citizens in this world, if you get my drift. And I thought that was so important and necessary to catch on to that. Now, again, I mentioned about having gratitude, entitlement, or dependence. Now, of course, when you give your child something, they say, and I'm talking about the adult children right now, those that should be doing something on their own. They say thank you for the most part, right? But that's words. How is it that their behavior says thank you? Do you find that they give you gifts? Do you find that they do acts of service afterwards that's coming from their heart, not through manipulation? Do you find that in a time of need, they have been there for you, whether it was financially or any other kind of way, that you knew that they didn't need to, but they do it was? That's how you could tell if someone is doing something from their heart and they truly appreciate you, as opposed to you only do a one-way street in gratifying them. Sometimes when the lesson hasn't been learned about how to reciprocate when it comes down to being a parent and an adult child, you'll find that some will have a sense of entitlement, meaning they actually think that this is what you're supposed to do. And some kind of way, maybe the wires got crossed, because your intentions was not for them to even think for 1 minute that you're supposed to be a one-way street to supply their needs, even when they're adult, because that is unrealistic. And they cannot do that nowhere else in life but with you. And others will allow them to do that. So what can you do when you have a child who have a sense of entitlement and you think that you have done it for so many years? I'm going to get to that next, okay? I'm going to come back to that. And then here's the third thing, dependence. What happens when you have done so much for your child and now they're an adult child and they become dependent upon you? Well, there's a lot of factors in that, and going and peeling off the layers in that as well. Meaning that, how does it make you feel when your child is dependent upon you? I'm going to touch on that one right now. Meaning that if you feel a sense of belonging, of wanting, of being I'm not going to say appreciated. Yeah, I could say appreciated too. Appreciated, belonging, a sense of being needed. That's what I was trying to say. Being needed. A sense of can't be, I'm going to leave it right there. Being needed. A sense of control. That's the other one I was looking for and stuff. If you have a feeling of a sense of control and even a sense of need, you might want to reevaluate yourself. Because if this is an adult child, you definitely want to be there for them. But you got to draw a line. Because you got to think about it, what they're going to do if you wasn't there. And you want them to be able to stand on their 2 feet, right? You do. You want them to be able to stand on their 2 feet and be able to function in this world with or without you. Because the role of a parent, of course, is to love and nurture, but we also supposed to make sure that they're able to sustain in this world, the best of our ability. Now, whatever they use, what we teach them is up to them. We can't bring the horse to the water and expect them always to drink it. But just like we had to learn in life, we got to let them learn too. And that's what our message I picked up from Sunday. Now, going back to the sense of entitlement. Now, that's a big one. And I'm going to say this. Why this is a big one. Because when you have a child who have a sense of entitlement, some kind of way they thought that the extension of you being an adult, extension of you being a parent as a child, that you supposed to, yes you are, provide their needs, wants, desires, and protection, and blah, blah, blah. They still think that same level is supposed to exist when they're an adult. And it shows in their attitude and behavior. When they start feeling as though they don't have to do anything for you, that your wants and desires are not important, and that whatever they do, however they respond to you, however they act towards you, you're supposed to take it. You got a problem, okay? You got a problem. Somewhere the wires got crossed. And it got crossed because it's a failure of communication, that your adult child thinks they don't have to respect you. Because that's what it really boils down to. And how to correct it, I'm going through something similar to that myself right now. So I'm speaking from experience here. And sometimes you don't even know what damage you did until you caused it and stuff. And so I don't have that with all my children. I have with one particular one. And unfortunately, with that one particular one, she's trying to influence another one who wasn't thinking along those lines at all. But the other one, the one who thinks that she's supposed to have, is trying to tell the other one, no, she's supposed to do these. And you got to go back to the drawing board, but do it on a adult level. That's how I see it. Meaning that I'm watching out for this dog. I got my dog. I'm watching out for this man's dog too. I don't want us getting tangled up. He looks kind of frisky there. I'm gonna be nice about it. But anyway, you want to make sure that you communicate it in a very respectful manner. That you shouldn't be taken for granted. That the things that you do or can do is not because you have to anymore, because that person is an adult. You don't have to help them. You desire to help them. That's a big difference. And in the meantime, you deserve to have respect. You raise that child to adulthood, and no matter what, they supposed to respect you. That's where they're supposed to come in. And you were supposed to respect them too. It's a two-way street. You supposed to respect your children. They supposed to respect you. So I guess everybody needs to respect each other. How about that? But it's hard. Mother's Day has brought a lot of me thinking, okay? A lot of me thinking. But I'm happy to know that I have a community out there. I call y'all my family, my extended family. And it's good to know that I wasn't the same one in the boat. Now, if you didn't get a chance, you can watch some of my early videos when I was ranting. I want to clear something up right now. I relocated. But when I relocated, it wasn't because of me trying to run from nothing. I had a viewer who got it all twisted wrong, said she had some type of discernment when she didn't. because she needed to get it fine-tuned because she was way off. And she thought I left the state of Delaware because of, I guess, what I was going through. That wasn't true at all. I've been wanting to leave the state of Delaware, but God wanted me to be there for 13 years, to be honest. I actually originated from Maryland. That's where my dysfunctional family lived in. I lived about maybe like 70 some miles from some of the family members. And so it's not that I had to leave for no reason other than the desire to want to. Me and my husband have been desiring to come down to the state of Georgia for retirement and to find a nice home, which we're still looking for, believe it or not, to have a permanent residency in. And this is our retirement place. This is where we're gonna retire. We spent our last years here. We already had made that statement before we came down here. Also, my husband had got a job offer, and our businesses that we had and stuff, catering, and my puppy looking at me, as well as home care, has been relocated here. It had nothing to do with running away for no problems. It had something to do with wanting to have a change that was a desire for many, many years. So that had nothing to do with the dysfunction of a family that was already miles away from me. Now, I can say this much. I do feel a difference, meaning that 70-some miles, I guess, away from the dysfunctional family that I was involved with. It was not that far as I thought it was when I first moved and stuff. And I moved because I had a business then. But now it's like over 500 miles. I do feel a difference, and it's a good thing. I feel a difference. It's a good thing. I guess I was still too close. You know, if you watch some of my early videos when I was doing a lot of ranting and everything, my purpose of ranting was to release the stress and the frustration that I was going through. Especially finding out that for many years I had a lot of stuff that was put on me that I had no knowledge of, that they didn't want me to find out. And I found out years later. And unfortunately, it is what it is. And, you know, I said my piece. So when you see my videos, it's not that I'm trying to be self-centered. I am trying to, for once in my life, I did try to be, speak my mind about how I felt. It wasn't about telling their story and telling my story. No, that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it was that was my time to share my thoughts, my feelings. Because for so many years, I had so much put on me I didn't even know about. Am I a perfect person? Hell no. Hell no. And I take very much responsibility for my faults. Those who know me, they know that, you know. It got so bad because of what was going on that I was, at some times in my life, was taking on false faults. And I had to point out, meaning that I was taking on responsibility for things I didn't do. But because I was conditioned to being a scapegoat for many, many years, that's what I was doing, you know. And I had people point that out, and I had to break out of that. So it felt very good to release some of that frustration that I had, okay? And that's what you see in my earlier videos. I'm at a happy place in my life. I did no contact, and it feels so good. It do. I feel like a new start. I'm getting out there and meeting new people. And my platform is just to show people that those of you who at the point that you're considering doing it or want to do it, it can be done. And that's what I'm showing on my platform and stuff. So God bless you all. I pray and I ask God to bless those who are part of my dysfunctional family. Okay? I don't wish no harm, no negativity towards nobody. So I thank you all for listening. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. If you got anything negative to say, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. I love you all, and God bless. Bye-bye.